I'm going to say something, and I want you guys to really think about it, okay? Really think about it. You know, for you men out there who have daughters, right? If your daughter came home crying to you, saying to you that her husband is communicating with other women, or her husband is flirting with other women, or her husband is lusting after other women, would that not hurt you as a father? Would that not anger you as a father? Would that not, want to make you get in your flesh a little bit? Because that's your daughter, that's your child. Like, you don't want anyone playing mind games with your daughter. You don't want anyone cheating on your daughter. You don't want anyone lying to your daughter, right? And vice versa, women. If you have a son, right, and your son is madly in love with someone and he's treating this woman good, and you find out that this woman is playing your son, this woman is using your son for money, this woman is disrespecting your son, and this woman is treating your son like a bank, and this woman don't love your son the way how he should be loved, that would anger you as a mother, because you want the best for your son, right? We have to see these perspectives, right, from God. As in, we are God's sons and daughters. So just like a man will be so offended if someone hurt his daughter, and he would be angry if someone hurt his daughter, if that's how you would feel, you should not be hurting God's daughter. Just like a woman would be offended if somebody hurt her son, right? You would be offended, so you should not be hurting God's sons. You see what I'm saying? And always think about things from these perspectives before you do certain things. Whether it be you're in a relationship, or whether it be that you have someone that God ordained for you. Think about it from that perspective, instead of trying to look for excuses to feed the flesh in the moment because you want to lust, or you want to do this, or you want to do that. Think about how it would affect you had that been your child. Because what I notice is there's men out there that will play women. They will disrespect a woman, mistreat her, ghost her, dog her, and have the woman crying in mental, emotional distress, have other women mocking her. But then when it comes to their daughters, they want to be overly protective. I love my daughter. Ain't nobody going to play my daughter. But you're playing someone else's daughter. But you're playing the daughter of the King of all kings. And vice versa. Same concept when it comes to, women playing with the sons of God. You see what I'm saying? You can't have double standards. If you would not like someone doing that to your child, don't do that to someone else's child. You have to see things from this point of view. And what made me really want to make this video and say that is because God gave me this word literally just now. God literally gave me this word. It's because somebody got offended about the community post I posted about, would you be upset if your partner was liking inappropriate photos? They got upset at that because they couldn't understand the definition of the word inappropriate and got offended. But God literally showed me how, had the tables been turned and had this person's wife been on Instagram with all her stuff out, he would not like that, and he would not even want to marry her. So if that's the case, why are you defending liking other women doing that if you wouldn't even want your own wife doing that? What does that mean? It means you really don't agree with it, but you're choosing to fight to do that because you want to feed your flesh in that moment. And God showed me the perspective of how this happens so commonly, how people will have these double standards, and people will say it's okay to do certain things, but had the tables been turned and had it been their own children going through these things, they would not be okay with it. You know what I mean? If you're fighting the spirit of lust and you're a man that cheats and you're a man that's fighting that, understand this. Every time you're gonna, even if you're a woman and you're fighting that, think about if you had a child, would you be okay with your child's partner doing that? Would you condone that? Would you be heartbroken if your son came home crying to you, or your daughter came home crying to you, that someone was doing this to them? You would not be okay with that. Especially, I'm saying especially, and I'm not trying to be, just judgmental on one, gender. No, I'm saying especially men. Think about this, because this happens a lot more commonly with men and women, and especially men that have daughters. I see this a lot, where men that have daughters will be the same men that will be mistreating someone, or mistreating the daughter's mother, or mistreating other women. But when it comes to their daughter, it's like, oh, I don't want nobody mistreating my daughter. But it's like, but you're treating someone else's daughter horribly. You're treating someone else in the flesh, their daughter, horribly, and you're treating God's child horribly. Do you see where I'm coming from, guys? That is one of the perspectives I want you guys to look at when you guys make decisions about what you're going to do and how you're going to treat your husband and your wife. Look at things from that perspective. Look at things from that perspective. If you're a man, say to yourself, oh, what am I doing right now? Would I be okay if a man was doing this to my daughter? No. So why am I doing this to my wife? If you are a wife, would I be okay if someone was doing this to my son? So why am I doing this to my husband? Think about things like that, because that's what's really going to convict you in that moment, because you're looking at things from God's point of view, because God sees you as his daughter and his son. So you're looking at things from God's point of view, and that's what's going to stop you in your tracks. And for those of you guys fighting porn addictions, lust addictions, I always tell people when they call me, say, Steph, I'm fighting this type of addiction, when I do my coaching calls. And I've had a couple men that talk to me, so they're fighting porn addictions, and I always tell them this, and it works. I say, go into a fast, and I tell them what fast to go into, and I tell them to pray to God, ask God to lead them into it. But I tell them the fast that I recommend. And I tell them, after you're done this fast, every time you have the urge, remember that the Holy Spirit is with you. Would you sit there and watch porn with Jesus? Would you sit there and watch porn with the Holy Spirit? No, right? So every time you're thinking about doing this, remember that God is right there with you. And if you watch it, he is right there with you. And it works, because they say, oh my gosh, Steph, like I feel awkward when I think about that. And then the urge goes away. And I'm like, there you go. So it's the same concept. When you're about to do certain things, ask yourself the questions. Would I want this person to do something like what I'm about to do right now to my own daughter or my own son? No. So why am I going to do it to someone else's daughter and son? See things from that perspective. Okay. I love you guys. Talk to you later. Bye.